Hello, hello, hello. And today I'm going to start with singing you two songs.
कभी लगे मुझको बुलाए नीला आसमां पुकारे मुझे बाहें फैलाए ख्वाबों का जहां कानों में जो गुनगुन गाए मन चली हवा पल पल यही दोहराए मेरे संग वाया 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 वाया
Now another one, the next one.
नैना रे नैना कैसे बीते रहना पिया बिन मुझको आए नाही चैना नैना रे नैना झूठे सजन का मैंने एतबार किया झूठे सजन का मैंने एतबार किया मेहंदी रचाई सोला सिंगार किया.
So, noticed how these two songs made you feel? While Vaya filled you with a lightness and feeling of upliftment, sweetness, and hope, Naina probably sucked you into its sadness and longing and maybe even anger, na? Remembering that lover who jilted you all that time ago. When music has a lyric, its impact is easier to experience. But music, even without lyrics, can be equally evocative or powerful. Pay close attention to how these pieces of music make you feel. See how easy it was for your mind to swing between being at a children's party to being at a dance party to a rave to suddenly being in the middle of a horror movie. Music is the language of emotion after all. Sound is powerful and can take your mind from here to there in just a second. Sound has always influenced healing. Consider ultrasound, a medical test that uses high frequency waves to capture live images from the human body, discovered as early as the 1930s. Trivia, I love trivia. Music and sound impact not only mood and feelings, but its effects can be felt at a much deeper and even cellular level in the brain and in the body. How? Let's elaborate. Music has a memory association. It stimulates the limbic system, which is involved with emotion, which in turn leads to emotional processing and regulation. Alzheimer's patients often remember childhood songs and lyrics while they sometimes forget even their own names and those of family members. Music has a profound impact on neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to organize itself by forming new neural connections throughout life. That's how stroke patients are often treated with music therapy. And have you heard of the Mozart Effect? The Mozart Effect is a phenomenon where listening to Mozart's symphonies and sonatas is associated with temporary improvements in cognitive function, particularly spatial temporal reasoning. Sounds too hi-fi, I know, but you get the gist. In the 1940s, a French doctor named Alfred Tomatis developed hearing and listening therapies known as the Tomatis method or audiopsychophonology. In this method, he used music to cure hearing loss and successfully employed it in treating autism and other learning disabilities. No coincidence this that Dr. Tomatis used recordings of the Gregorian chants, the sacred music of the Roman Catholic Church dating back to the 9th and 10th century, one of the original sources of the Solfeggio Scale. So now you will ask me, what is the Solfeggio Scale? The Solfeggio Scale is the original notation scale of Western music, credited to a Benedictine monk Guido Drezzo in about 1000 AD. This consisted of 6 frequencies or 6 notes. Over the years, 3 more frequencies were added to the scale to take it to 9. This scale was based on a specific mathematical formula dating back to Pythagoras, a Greek mathematician and philosopher. Oh my God. Remember Pythagoras' theorems in school? So, yes, this is the same guy who tortured you in school. Apparently, Pythagoras discovered the foundations of musical tuning by observing the sounds of 4 blacksmiths' hammers while they were at work. Depending on the weight of the hammer, Pythagoras observed that they produced either consonance, that is musical sound pleasing to the ear, or dissonance, unpleasant sound jarring to the ear. Based on this Pythagoras finding and measurements, Pythagoras came up with ratios 2:1 for octaves and 3:2 for fifths, which frankly, I don't understand any of this myself. I have just by-hearted it to share with you, like I used to by-heart Pythagoras theorems in school too, and trust me, I always failed in maths in school, so it doesn't matter. So, Pythagoras is considered the original father of Western music. Can you believe that? So now we know that telling kids, who are dumb in maths but good in music like I was, that music and maths were connected, and those who are good in music have to be good in maths, so study harder and vice versa, was not some flattery trick used by elders to make us study. But this myth does have a true origin. Pythagoras was the first person to prescribe music as medicine. Pythagoras believed that each celestial body, as well as every atom, produced a particular sound due to its movement, rhythm, or vibration, resulting in universal harmony. He asserted that music is omnipresent, governing all temporal cycles such as seasons, biological cycles, and the rhythms of nature. Phew. So, the Solfeggio scale was originally created on the basis of Pythagoras' theory of musical intervals by a monk called Guido Drezzo. We got that, right? Now, the current modern scale of Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti is derived from the original Solfeggio scale, although modern music now follows different frequencies. The modern music scale used today is believed to be out of sync with the old Solfeggio scale, as those were changed sometime near the end of the 16th century perhaps, when the 12-tone equal temperament, or the chromatic scale as we understand it today, was created. Conspiracy theorists have suggested explanations of rulers of medieval Europe and the church wanting to create conflict and unrest amongst the public by creating dissonance rather than consonance. That is, blending notes rather than clashing notes. I'm not sure I buy that theory, because you see, it was similar with Indian music too. Change is inevitable, change is the only constant. The 12 notes we follow today in Indian music, Swapta Swara, that is Sa, Re, Ga, Ma, Pa, Dha, Ni, Sa, 7 notes, plus the 5 notes of the flat and sharps like the Tivra Ma, the Komal Dha, Komal Ni, equivalent to the sharps and flats in the Western scale, make it a 12-note chromatic scale. But ancient Carnatic music that has its roots in the Vedas is said to have recognized not just the half notes or semitones that we now use as a standard, but even 1/4 and 1/8 or even sometimes 1/16 of a note, and far more intricate permutations and combinations were once used. These, of course, changed as instruments evolved and universal frequencies were set to make learning of music easier. The frequencies of the 1/8 and 1/4 and 1/16, etc. were lost forever. This left only the half notes behind that we use today, like the Tivra Ma and the Komal notes in Indian music, which are nothing but the sharps and flats in Western music. You get that, right? So the Samveda, which precedes the Solfeggio scale, by the way, by thousands of years, said to be compiled around 1200 or 1000 BC, holds a special place in Vedic tradition as the foundation of Indian music. Unlike the other Vedas which are recited, the verses of the Samveda are specifically meant to be sung, with each stanza meant to be chanted in a special intonation or shruti, sacred vibrations or frequencies. In fact, Vedic philosophy centers around the concept of Nada Brahma, the idea that the universe itself is sound, or that sound is God. The belief in the divine power of sound has deeply influenced how the Vedas were composed, transmitted, and chanted, making sound of music an essential component of Vedic knowledge. So, coming back to the Solfeggio scale, lost for thousands of years, rediscovered by Joseph Beaulieu and Dr. Horowitz in the 1970s. Now, how they seemingly rediscovered it is a matter of debate. I will not go into that. But the fact is that the re-emergence of the solfeggio frequencies into our current consciousness and its understanding has revolutionized our understanding of sound or music and its healing and regenerative powers. Now, just as we in Indian and Asian cultures have over centuries chanted specific mantras for their healing properties, such as Gayatri Mantra, Om Bhur Bhuvasvaha Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat, known to promote mental clarity, entitlement, and overall well-being. The Mahamrityunjaya Mantra, Om Trayambaka Yajamahe Sugandham Pushta Vardhanam, known as a death-conquering mantra granting protection from illness and to alleviate fear of death. Shanti Mantra to invoke peace and harmony. Kuber Mantra to attract wealth and prosperity, my favorite, etc. The resurgence of the solfeggio frequencies has also brought forth the ancient wisdom of the healing frequencies of sound to the Western world. So let's take a look at the solfeggio scale and their healing frequencies. 396 Hz, liberation from fear and guilt. 417 Hz, undoing situations and facilitating change. 528 Hz, transformation and miracles. Said to be even able to decrease cortisol levels or repair DNA. 639 Hz, harmonizing relationships and inner balance. 741 Hz, living healthier and driving changes in lifestyle. 852 Hz, return to mental and spiritual order. Over the years, like I explained, 3 more frequencies were added to the original 6-note solfeggio scale. These are 174 Hz, security and comfort, 285 Hz, renewal of energy fields, cellular repair and immunity, 863 Hz, divinity, higher consciousness. If you are still confused about the solfeggio frequencies, type 528 Hz or binaural beats on YouTube to be exposed to a new world of sound and miracles. You know, to me, even more fascinating is the connection between chakra healing, that follows the same frequencies as the solfeggio scale, by the way, and the similarities in the matching of color and sound frequencies. Wow! Fascinating, isn't it? The more modern we get, the more we need to connect to ancient wisdom. And by the way, not just Pythagoras, huh? Do you know there's a connection even between Tesla and music? Yes, Nikola Tesla, who inspired Elon Musk to name the first electric car after him. Nikola Tesla, the discoverer of electricity, light, X-rays and whatnot. What was his deep and divine connection to the world of music? How did his science influence music? Stay with me as I delve into this and much more, only on the Music Stories with me, yours musically, Suchitra Krishnamoorthi. Pythagoras or... Stop. Ye samveda. Miracles. No, if you're still confused. And what the... We'll take it from जैसे कि हमा वास्तव में ना gosh, we're done.
with me.